Today, I want to delve into one of the most frustrating narratives in the NBA that has been bothering me for years. It's this widespread belief that a player's total stats and longevity are the sole indicators of their greatness. The main advocates of this perspective? Well, it's often LeBron James fans and pundits like Nick Wright. They're fixated on career totals, arguing that these numbers automatically crown someone as the greatest player of all time. But here's where it gets problematic. Take the recent example of DeMar DeRozan about to surpass Larry Bird in all-time points. Now, don't get me wrong, DeRozan is an excellent player, even now an all-star caliber talent. However, suggesting he's a better scorer than Larry Bird is a stretch. Using the same logic that LeBron James fans employ, some might argue that DeRozan, with fewer shots, is a superior overall scorer. But here's the catch. Stats like total points and longevity can be highly misleading. Smart NBA fans know that assessing a player's greatness requires looking at their prime and peak performance. Let's break it down. Larry Bird during his peak 1985 to 1988 averaged 28.1 points, 9.7 boards, and 6.8 assists on 52, 41, and 90 shooting splits. Now, compare that to DeRozan, and it becomes clear that Bird outclasses him in every single category. Even as a scorer, Bird peaked higher with 28.7 points in 85, 28.1 points in 87, and 29.9 points in 88, whereas DeRozan has never averaged 28 points per game in his entire career. It's essential for rational NBA fans to see beyond the misleading longevity stats and focus on a player's prime and peak. Numbers alone don't tell the whole story, and using them to judge greatness can lead to some questionable conclusions. Now, let's address the argument often put forth by those who champion total stats. You'll frequently hear them say, well, DeMar scored more points while taking fewer shots. But if that's your main argument, you've missed the entire point of valuing a player's peak and prime, assessing how good they were at their absolute best. My primary gripe with the LeBron James and Nick Wright crowd, who seem to adore these total stats, is that they don't apply this metric consistently across all players. It's mainly reserved for the LeBron vs. Jordan debate. If you start comparing total stats across the board for every player, it quickly becomes apparent how absurd their logic is. Take, for instance, John Stockton, supposedly being a better overall point guard than Magic Johnson based on total stats. Clearly not true. Even someone like Dwayne Wade, whose total stats surpass Larry Bird's, doesn't mean he's a better player. Wade was undoubtedly great, but he's not in the same league as Larry Legend. And let's not forget about Karl Malone, whose longevity and total stats might surpass Jordan's. But does that make Malone the better player? Absolutely not. Longevity is impressive, and total stats have their place, especially when it comes to milestones and NBA records. But using them to determine who is the best player doesn't even paint half the picture. In essence, my point is simple. The misleading nature of total stats and longevity is rampant in the NBA community. When reflecting on players like Larry Bird and witnessing the incredible stats some players put up today, it makes you question how some fans doubt Bird's ability to thrive in today's NBA. Consider this. Current Boston Celtics fans sometimes criticize Jaylen Brown for lacking a left hand. Yet, he's consistently averaging over 25 points, made the All-NBA second team last year with an average of 27 points per game. If Jaylen is performing at this level with a perceived flaw, imagine what Larry Bird would achieve in today's era. Back in 2017, there was a debate that caught my eye between LeBron James and Draymond Green. Surprisingly, both players agreed on one thing. There are NBA players today who, in their words, don't know how to play basketball. Let that sink in for a moment. LeBron James and Draymond Green, two basketball elites, suggesting that there are individuals in the league who lack the fundamental understanding of the game. While the overall talent in the NBA has undeniably improved, I argue that the basketball IQ and fundamentals have taken a hit. Many American players, characterized more as raw athletes with exceptional physical attributes, often fall short in terms of fundamental skills. On the flip side, players from Europe, known for their solid fundamentals, are making a significant impact in today's game. Look at Nikola Jokic, averaging an impressive 28 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists, despite not having a jaw-dropping vertical. Similarly, Luka Doncic, with slightly more athleticism, effortlessly drops 40 points at any given moment. Now, I want to be clear that I'm generalizing and there are many American-born players with exceptional fundamental skills. But it seems that younger players, more focused on athleticism, sometimes prioritize jumping high and running fast over being fundamentally sound. Even veteran players aged 30 and above who possess great skills continue to dominate in today's NBA. Shifting gears a bit, I'd like to address a common sentiment in the NBA community, the notion that championships don't matter and are purely a team accomplishment. This argument, similar to the total stats debate, falls short when you examine it closely. While basketball is undoubtedly a team sport, every individual stat and accolade is influenced by teammates. If we take this logic further, things like being the assist leader or breaking the all-time scoring record should be considered team accomplishments as well. On the court, it's not a 1-on-5 scenario. Your teammates impact spacing, affect how tough the defense plays, and determine how often you get double-teamed. So, let's reconsider the value of championships and recognize that individual achievements are intricately linked to team dynamics. Now, of course, I'm injecting a bit of sarcasm and hyperbole here, but I really want to drive home the overall point. When someone makes the bold claim that championships don't matter, it's crucial to follow that argument through and think it all the way to its logical conclusion. The same goes for total stats and longevity. You can't selectively apply this logic to just one player versus another. It has to be a consistent approach across the board. Now, there's a reason why this consistency often falls by the wayside. If these critics were to apply their logic universally, their entire argument would crumble. It's a selective application of reasoning, and when scrutinized, it becomes apparent how flawed and misleading it can be. Fans like Nick Wright seem to have no boundaries. No argument is off limits, and no narrative is too absurd to push their agenda. Bringing up examples like DeRozan surpassing Bird in points only serves to expose the flaws in relying solely on longevity stats. As always, thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this video entertaining, and let me know what you think. Subscribe for more videos like this.